Good day and namaste. Hello, my name is Christopher Oteki. You all know me, and this is a Soul Garden guided hangout. And by guided hangout, this is something where we're taking advantage of Google technology and reaching out to the light workers around the world. And today I'm extremely honored to present an inventor, a scientist, a spiritual being. I'll let him classify himself because I believe he's an Aquarius and they hate labels. Please welcome Tom Paladino. Hi, Tom.
Hi, Christopher. Pleasure to be here. Thank you so much.
My pleasure. Thank you so much for joining us. Everyone that watches this show are all people that attempt to live in their heart and attempt to live healthy. And I'll give a little background to my audience. I have a good friend of 15 years or so named Justine Kay. She's a phenomenal psychic. Anytime she's come into my life, she's had a blessing for me, something very important. And recently, she came back into my life out of nowhere. She's kind of all around the world and flying around. She's got a cool butterfly effect. But when she lands, I pay attention. And she said, "You've got to check out this guy, Tom. He's done an invention that can heal remotely, and it's a device." Which right away I was like, no way. And then you probably get that a lot, Tom. So why don't I let you just explain your own words what scalar remote healing is?
Okay. Once again, thanks for the invitation. I work with scalar energy, which is not electricity. There are two energies in the universe. Scalar energy is an energy that originates from the stars. And what I found with scalar energy is it does not behave like electricity. Scalar energy allows me to control molecular form. I can actually either bind a molecule, create a molecule, or unbind or disassemble a molecule. So with scalar energy, I've developed a technique in which I can form molecular physical matter, or I can break down molecular physical matter. Now, the implications are so far-reaching and so stupendous for mankind, and we will visit some of the things that I'm doing with scalar energy in that regard.
That's amazing. So let me just be the common man here. Has science, do they acknowledge scalar energy, or is that something that you've gone off on your tangent and discovered?
Well, if we study Nikola Tesla, one of the greatest scientists of all time, Nikola Tesla worked with scalar energy, especially in the latter part of his career. And there are now many scientists who are now starting to embrace that concept, that there's another type of energy, that the electromagnetic energy is not the only source of energy in the universe. But sadly, academia today is behind the times, frankly.
Interesting.
If you will, it's people, it's the mom and pops of the world who are really the forerunners in this case. It is people like us, Christopher, that are broaching this subject, that are introducing the fact that there is another energy in the universe and that it offers mankind such phenomenal benefits.
Well, it's interesting. I love Nikola Tesla, first of all, and I'm really proud that you have honored his work, because I know he got trampled on by the powers that be and really was thrown to the wayside. Is scalar energy the energy that we hear about, that he had secret designs that were stolen by the government right after he died, that he had a device that could bring down a building? Was that scalar energy that could bring down a building?
Exactly, precisely.
Oh,
and that's why, precisely, and that's why Tesla's inventions to this day, especially in the latter part of his career, are so poorly understood. People try to understand what Tesla did in his latter days by way of the electromagnetic spectrum, and you cannot do that. In Tesla's day, we had the advent of AC electricity, and Tesla was essentially the father of AC electricity. He gave us the modern day age.
Yes.
But sometime during his career, Tesla saw a better energy, which was scalar energy. And to that end, he began to build a tower on Long Island called Wardenclyffe.
Yes.
That was per se a scalar energy transmitter. It had nothing to do with electricity. Well, frankly, his financier, J.P. Morgan and the Rothschilds, once they got wind of the fact that Tesla was about to introduce free energy to mankind, well, all of his financial backing was negated, if you will. And from that point forward, Tesla was a marked man, and the powers that be that we mentioned were not going to work with him, because they did not see a means to make money off of free energy.
My goodness. And you know what? I just want to point out that the United States is still under the grips of the darkness of J.D. Rockefeller and everything that that man and his organization has done. I
Right.
can't say it's good. And when we talk about breaking up the big banks right now, we're still talking about that same J.D. Rockefeller establishment. So, Lightworkers Unite, you put your power where your money is. I'll just tell you that. So, very interesting stuff. Now, with Scalar, do you think perhaps, this came to me as you were speaking, people in science are going after dark energy. Do you think they're going after scalar energy in your mind?
I'm sure they are. And to be quite blunt, those who finally attend to this and really can master scalar energy really have a leg up, if you will. I firmly believe that once we understand scalar energy, we will have control over our universe like we've never
Wow.
had before. It really is consummate power. And if you really are of a nefarious intention, I really would be very dubious if an evil power were to gain access to scalar energy. It has such incredible power, and it can be used for good or evil. Let's be frank about that.
Okay, that's really well. You bring up an interesting point. So, with all due respect, how do you sit there so calmly as the inventor of the thing that will change the free world? Especially after talking about Tesla. And that was my first question, Justine. I'm like, is he in hiding? Like, do you care to comment on that, or?
Not a problem. I am not in hiding. I'm a public figure. I frankly don't believe that people quite understand what I'm doing. If people really could grasp what I'm doing, and that I have functioning scalar energy instruments, and that essentially I have consummate control over nature, over physical nature, then I think people would wake up. But they don't get it yet. And so we have to educate them, to be quite candid.
Let's do it. And okay, so first let's dive a little deeper into scalar energy for my science nutballs out there. What is your theory? To me, from what I've read on your website, and by the way, folks, we'll give you a link and everything. It's on my website, soulgarden.tv. You'll see there's a link underneath here. You can do a 15 free day trial of this healing process, but let us explain a little bit more. I just want to tell everyone. But in essence, how does it work? It seems to almost be, by the way you describe it, along the lines of what I have studied as sacred geometry. It almost seems geometric. It almost seems like you're tapping into the sacred geometry of energy and somehow building anti-sacred geometry shapes or something. I mean, that seems to be to that nature. What is your description of it?
Let's look at the very fundament of scalar energy. It's a double helix, and it really is composed of this corkscrew configuration. Well, every scalar wave has a major groove and a minor groove. Now, the major groove is to the order of 1.618 times the length of the minor groove. Now, that numerical value is phi, phi, and many of you are familiar with phi, phi. That fundament really undergirds the universe. So it is scalar energy which assumes the numerical value of 1.618 phi, and with that creative strength then is responsible for all of creation. This is why we find that repeating pattern, 1.618, throughout the world, throughout the universe. It is scalar energy that imparts those instructions, 1.618. So, leading to your question, that is sacred geometry. It is scalar energy that imparts sacred geometry to everything.
Fascinating. So there's basically to kind of create in the mind's eye, it seems that reality has an energetic skeleton underneath it.
Yes.
An energetic skeleton.
Yes. And those are the instructions of the universe. You hit the nail on the head.
Precisely. That's holding up, almost like a house is held up, like holding up all the points of consciousness, right? It's holding up consciousness, or at least the waves of consciousness, the shapes of consciousness. So there's a shape to things, and this is where this is what totally blew my mind. Is for everyone at home, I just want to say I went on his healing in the last 30 days. I do feel terrific. I'll just say that right now. But what's fascinating to me is to get healed, I uploaded a picture of my skin. So would you care to share how that works?
Yes, yes. Scalar energy is timeless, it's spaceless. That is, it transcends time and space. Now, even though I live in Florida and you're on the West Coast, that doesn't matter. If I have your photograph, Your photograph represents you, your person. So I can either treat you by way of your photograph remotely, which is this, it would be the same as if you were present, physically present in my laboratory. I treat everybody by way of their photograph because scalar energy is instantaneous communication. And when I place a photograph inside a scalar energy force field, I instantly communicate with anybody in the world. So a photograph allows me to instantaneously communicate with any person anywhere in the world and to send that person scalar energy accordingly.
You know, that's so fascinating because in, God consciousness, I've been doing a lot of studies and studying God. I love God. I read this book called Conversations with God. And he talked about how imagination is imageation, that God created the universe based on creating images that the universe then somehow understands how it all goes together from that image. And that's what imagination is. Right. So it almost sounds like you're literally tapping into that imageation of the universe by using an image.
Yes. I firmly believe, and I'll give you the theological standpoint, I believe scalar energy is a direct broadcast, a direct manifestation from God. And if that's true, then I have the essence of God. And that's what I'm saying. Scalar energy is the essence of God. It's consciousness. It's the mind of God. It's the instructions of the universe. I have tapped into that source of infinite intelligence. And with that infinite intelligence, I can do incredible things.
So let's talk about it. You basically take a picture of an individual's skin. And my physics mind is like, well, that makes sense because a picture is a representation of the actual light waves bouncing off of you at that moment. Yes. Like it is an actual read of your light waves, is an actual read of the light and how it bounced. And it is actual, especially if you use film, it would be even more actual than digital. So that makes total sense that you have like this image. And I would imagine that what makes up my image has a geometric shape that's unique to the universe, right? That's kind of what it comes down to.
Thank you.
So, like my DNA, yes. The scalar energy in me is very unique. And I think this way, by the way, where I really identify with you because I'm an astrologer. I study, astrologer charts. And we literally look at this pattern of where the planets were at the moment of your birth. And it's this scattering and overlaying. And so I can see that there is a shape to each person has a shape. And I know that it takes 26,000 years to create that shape. So this all makes sense to me that a picture would lead to this. But this is what blew my mind. Then you actually take it and you marry this picture with pathogens or something. Tell me about how you actually heal with it.
Sure, that's correct. Again, anything in a scalar energy environment experiences instantaneous communication. So if I take a person's photograph and I place it in a scalar energy environment, and then I take a photograph of the herpes virus, an actual photograph of the herpes virus, and place it side by side your photograph, that information merges. And the way I've calibrated my instrument is, if I take a photograph of a germ and introduce it into my scalar energy instrument, the instructions, the energetic code that is broadcast will serve to break apart the molecular bonds of herpes. In other words, a photograph of the herpes virus will break apart, will disassemble the herpes virus inside the human body. Hence, all I need is a photograph of a germ in order to destroy that germ. I have discovered the cure for pathogenic infection.
That's ridiculously awesome. I mean, if that's the case, I just want to tell you, Tom, God bless you for doing this work. Let me just say, God bless you. And God bless you for giving me a little more faith again, because it's like, as I see pharmaceuticals taking over people's minds and people going on drugs and being, basically addicted to medications, all, this scenario, along comes a device that's just like, oh, that's all a mute. The whole game's over. And I'm like, hallelujah. That is so nice.
Thank you, Christopher. It really is a game changer, and that's the whole point of my research. I'm trying to get this out to the general public. My intent is to heal the world. Thank you. My scalar energy instruments are calibrated that I could easily assume 1 million, 2 million photographs a day and treat and cure 1 million or 2 million people a day. Because scalar energy supersedes, it transcends time and space. And we're not dealing with the electromagnetic spectrum. We're dealing with another type of force field that has different properties, that observes different laws of nature. What we can do with scalar energy is far, far superior to that of electricity and magnetism. So my statement is this. I not only have discovered the cure for pathogenic infection, I can easily treat 1 million, 2 million. I could actually treat 5 million people a day if I had the photographs. And accordingly, I could eradicate the pathogens in their body. As such, I have the cure for pathogenic infection, yes, and I could treat easily millions of people every day if I had the support of the people. I cannot do this alone.
I hear you. Well, I'm going to help you any way I personally can, and I think, first of all, so let's just go through the scale of what is possible when people sign up. I want to tell everyone, you upload your picture. Tom is going to give away 15 days. Technically, reading your documentation, everything dies in the first 3 days, right? Or everything disappears, not dies. There's a subtle difference there.
Very well stated. When I treat people, I have a pathogenic cleanse. That is, I have over 350,000 photographs of different species of germs, pathogens. 350,000 photographs in which I can subject that person to that energy of each photograph. Hence, I can eradicate over 350,000 species of viruses, bacteria, fungi, protozoan, even prions. Now, that's what I call a pathogenic cleanse, and it only takes one treatment to negate the molecular bonds of a pathogen and to destroy a pathogen.
So what does destroy mean? That's what I'm interested in. Like, because I noticed that you say there's no death that happens in the bloodstream. Your bloodstream isn't carrying a bunch of dead microbes.
That's correct. That's correct. Why? Because we're working at the fundamental level. We're not working with chemicals. Chemicals destroy. Chemicals, let's say, will kill a microorganism. To the contrary, I transmute a microorganism. That is, I break down the molecular bonds. I negate the molecular bonds. As such, a germ, a pathogen, actually falls apart. Now, by virtue of that fact, yes, the germ, the pathogen is destroyed. But what is really pertinent, what is salient to this matter is I do not work with chemicals, I work with light. And light works in this function to negate the molecular bonds. If you negate the molecular bonds of a virus or a bacterium, that pathogen literally falls apart. It disassembles or transmutes. Some people call that transmutation. Hence, the germ, the pathogen, ceases to exist.
So you basically have invented the teleporter.
Yes, correct.
But in very early stages, you have.
Correct. Correct.
And if you had an image of a person, you could theoretically have the signature of their. That's cool, Tom.
Yes.
Wait. Practice on an animal first.
If you remember the Star Trek movies.
Sorry, animals.
If you remember the Star Trek version, when you could actually see a person either materialize or dematerialize, that's essentially what I'm doing with my scalar energy. I cause a germ to dematerialize. I break it apart. Well, if I destroy those molecular bonds, if I negate those molecular bonds, yes, I cause pathogens to dematerialize, so to speak. If something dematerializes, it no longer exists. If a germ, a pathogen has dematerialized, it's no longer a threat. You're no longer infected. You've been cured.
So tell me, I was reading along your website, and forgive me, I didn't have time to read all these. You have a lot of studies on your website, a lot of articles. One involved an elephant, one involved HIV. Would you care to share, some of the documented or case studies that you've experienced?
Sure. Many people are coming to me with viral infections, whether it's herpes, HIV, Epstein-Barr, and I treat them with scalar energy. And what is really telling is this, that after I treat these people, many of these people will have a diagnostic test. Well, what I recommend is ultimately a PCR test, a polymerase chain reaction test. And this has become quite common now. And every client, every person that I've treated with scalar energy, if they have a polymerase chain reaction test that looks for the viral load, ultimately these tests will come back negative. Ultimately, there's no viral load left. Why? Because again, we've dematerialized, or we have disassembled the herpes virus, the HIV virus, the Epstein-Barr virus. These viruses no longer exist. So my comment is this: scalar energy working at this fundamental level controls physical matter. I have mastery over pathogens. I have developed a technique whereby all I need is a photograph of a germ in order to disassemble, to dematerialize that germ. Now, if we put this into forward motion, hopefully the world will attend to what I'm doing and work with me. I have the easy and painless means to eradicate pathogenic infection.
It's just absolutely incredible. So people had a viral load. They went down to the term non-detectable is what they say now, right?
Correct.
Yeah.
Correct.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And another one I saw, Lyme's disease, which I have a couple of friends who suffered from this. And if they watch this, I was very heartfelt in that interest. Lyme disease, which seems to have no cure in medicine or no any kind of hope. Also, you've had some evidence with working with Lyme disease, yes?
That's correct. Lyme disease is caused in North America by a bacterium, Borrelia burgdorferi. I've had some of my clients have gone so far as to have a PCR test after I've treated them. And invariably, all of the PCR tests, all of the polymerase chain reaction tests have shown no genetic marker, no genetic indication that Borrelia burgdorferi still exists in their body. So, once again, my scalar energy instrument can dematerialize or disassemble the bacterium Borrelia burgdorferi, which is the Lyme spirochete, at least in North America, that causes Lyme disease.
Terrific. And hepatitis C as well, I saw. Is that correct? Yes?
That's correct. That's
correct. Another scary infection that allegedly gets dormant and hides. I mean, that's one of the first things I thought about with your system is like, people live in fear of these dormant and hiding viruses and things. Yours just basically erases it. They would have to go and be re-exposed in order to get sick, correct?
Exactly, correct. If you can imagine, in one day I can eradicate over 350,000 potential species of pathogens in the human body. Well, yes, you would have to become reinfected in order to bear that virus or that bacterium. I have the consummate means with scalar energy to disassemble and eradicate pathogens. This ultimately, Christopher, will be embraced as the cure for all pathogenic disease. I am saying that thousands of pathogenic diseases now can be cured.
That is just absolutely wonderful. And I have ideas I won't say on the air as to what might be good for you. And we'll talk, how to help you, and we'll talk about that. Let me ask you some questions about your personal background. You come from a science engineering background. Is that correct? I mean, how did you stumble upon this Tesla technology?
As a youngster, I started to read about Tesla, and I knew in some way that God would lead me to his work and that I would understand it. Well, I was a teenager then, and I only casually could understand what he was doing. Now I think I have a much more intimate understanding of Tesla and his work. And in many ways, I think I'm following Tesla in his footsteps. I want to give him credit. Without Tesla and a few other scalar energy researchers, I would not be where I am now. I am standing upon the shoulders of giants. But to make a long story short, it was God's influence in my life. I studied so hard. I spent years at the collegiate level studying. I probably, if I put a number to it, I was in taking collegiate classes for 17, 18 years.
Wow.
And all I did is study. I love to study. I love to research. And to me, it's a labor of love. But yeah, it's been a lifelong passion. And after that classical education, I set out on my own. All of it has been groundbreaking research from that point forward, with essentially without precedence.
Fascinating. And when you say God inspired, how does that work for you? Do you literally pray and then God makes a book fall off the shelf? Like, how did this happen? How are you because I know it's spiritually inspired. I just want people to hear your story a little bit.
Sure. I enjoy the same gift that Nikola Tesla enjoyed. Tesla would say that he would see inventions before he would even go to the laboratory. Many times God will download this information into my mind, and I will see what I have to do with scalar energy. I will actually see the engineering design, or I will understand intuitively the treatment modality, the actual practice that I must observe. And then indeed, once I go to the laboratory and I experiment, I see that I was indeed given that afflatus. I was given that download of information that, yes, God is leading me. Tesla often said that he would lay awake at night and he would have flashes of light, and he would actually see an invention before his eyes. He could actually understand the mechanics of an invention without even visiting his laboratory, without even building the device. That's obviously a God-given talent, and in some fashion, I had that God-given insight likewise.
Mm-hmm. And what did you feel in your heart is your calling, if I may ask?
My calling right now is to heal the world. I want to set up some type of nonprofit, some type of free treatment for mankind, and I want people to send me 1 million photographs or 2 million photographs a day, and I want to cure 2, 3, 5 million people a day. That's my goal for 2016. And it really is tenable. This is not outlandish. I've done all the work. All I need is 1 million photographs a day. If somebody were to provide me, a group of people were to provide me with 1 million photographs a day, I could treat and cure 1 million people a day.
That's amazing. I think someone could, especially in this age of the internet.
Yeah.
And for yourself, you're an Aquarius, right?
Yes.
Okay, which is cool. And you're very God-driven for a scientist. Where did that come from?
Christopher, there's no division between religion and science. They're the same.
I agree. I'm just setting up to say that.
Yeah, and you and I are the same bent there. It's sad to see people make that division, and they make life so difficult. Everything in life should be fluid. My life as a scientist is the same lifestyle that I have as a theologian. It's the same. There is no contradiction. The contradiction is the artifice of some people. To me, it's well, for some people it's just ignorance. For some people it's the intention to divide mankind.
Yes, I think there's a definite intention to divide, so it can be controlled by certain divisions of people.
Correct. Correct.
Yeah, absolutely. And I can't agree with you more. I've often thought to myself, I'm a person that has studied manifesting reality. I've seen myself envision things, and it come precisely that way. Right. I see that there is a cooperation going on with the universe, and I've always, and for myself, I've had similar experiences like you, just so you know. When it comes to my art of astrology, I have just suddenly been endowed with certain formulas that other astrologers don't have, and I was trusted with it, and I knew it was accurate, and I just tried it, and it was. Yeah. So it's like I completely understand, and I can't. It's like, gosh golly, why hasn't anyone thought of asking God for the secret to the answer? You know what I mean? Like, and you've certainly gotten that, yeah.
That's the easy way. I want to speak to that point. There is a profound science behind everything, including astrology. Stars, all stars broadcast scalar energy. Well,
interesting. Yeah, okay.
If that's the case, and it is, then all stars are broadcasting this incredible intelligence. And this intelligence, these instructions, are responsible for the universe. So if we look at the stars and their interplay in our lives, of course the stars are going to have a profound effect upon us. The stars, scalar energy is emanating from the stars, are responsible for everything. The stars are the instructions of the universe. Of course it's going to have a profound effect on mankind.
Very interesting. And I'm just curious, what are the planets in that context in scalar energy?
The planets are neutral. They don't broadcast scalar energy, but they obviously absorb scalar energy. And so in many ways, they also likewise have an effect upon us.
Yeah, probably a spongy effect, I imagine. Yeah. Seems like a spongy effect. So basically, we want to put this out. I talked to Justine Kay, and she said that that one of our Soul Garden viewers could get a free 30-day trial with your service, and I want to just put out to my viewers, hey, email us at help@soulgarden.tv, and we're going to take a look at it. We're really looking for a case of someone who is hurting and doesn't have the money and has been having a hard time is what I'm looking for, a case like that. But I want to underscore that there's a link at soulgarden.tv where everyone can get 15 days of free scalar healing and see for themselves. I'll say that I perked up right away, and Tom, I don't want to really admit this, but I'm going to on the air. I ended up going on your your healing right over Thanksgiving and kind of towards Christmas and stuff. I ended up being on it right over New Year's, and I've never gone through New Year's and felt so good after. I think you scaled away all the alcohol and everything out of it. Like, I think it just got scaled away. I was like, whoa. And I have to say I feel really good. I have to also say that I've lost some weight. And so do you want to just real quickly talk about, any side effects or any kind of experience that people talk about when they go on the program?
Sure. Per se, we're working with sunlight once again. Scalar energy is sunlight or starlight. So this is the natural energy of the universe.
Okay.
And there is no adverse side effect, because if there was, we all would be incredibly sick. Sunlight, starlight is pure divine energy. Now, there is no adverse effect. Likewise, on account of the fact I don't work with chemicals. Mm-hmm. This is not a way of attacking illness by way of chemicals. I've got really nothing against the pharmaceutical industry. They've done their best, but that really is an outdated way of going about wellness. There's a much more refined, a much more responsible way, which is scalar energy. So I don't work with chemicals, hence there's no Herxheimer reaction or no die-off. I'm working with pure light, the light of God. And with that, I can change the terrain of the body. So with that statement, I'm working with this painless procedure, with this divine light that serves to change our body chemistry. I can eradicate germs, yes. I'm also able, with scalar energy, to assemble nutrients. That's part of the protocol that I work with.
That's what nutrient. Is that what nutrient therapy is? That was my question. Yeah. So what is so you make appear suddenly?
Yes.
Nutrients. That's how it works.
For instance, let's say I wanted to assemble vitamin C inside the body.
That's just my head was thinking. There goes emergency. Sorry, emergency. Go ahead.
I actually take a photograph of vitamin C and I place it inside my scalar energy instrument. So my instrument would scan that photograph of vitamin C and then send the instructions, would broadcast those instructions inside the human body, and the human body would then start to borrow elements and form the molecular structure of vitamin C. So with scalar energy, I can break apart germs, pathogens, or I can actually assemble vitamins and minerals and antioxidants. This is what I consider universal healthcare. This is universal wellness that I've developed.
It's amazing, and I mean, it's an obvious question, so please forgive me. Can you overdose on scalar? Like, could you create so much vitamin C I start turning orange, like from Willy Wonka instead of a blueberry?
I think that's a potential. Yes, I haven't calibrated my instruments as such. The calibration is just enough to the point that it's of a nutritional benefit. Could you overdo anything? Yes, you could overdo it, but I haven't calibrated my instruments with that type of power.
So you're given so basically, so when you're on scalar treatment, is that come in the package that you get nutrients added? Oh, it does.
Yes.
And so you're basically giving us a vitamin a day? Is that what it is? Like,
that's correct.
Wow.
I have the ability to assemble over 282 micronutrients, vitamins, minerals, amino acids, phytochemicals, enzymes, etc. And if you will, it's really a consummate approach to nutritional fortitude. The fact that I can assemble 282 micronutrients in the body, and those nutrients are assembled inside the cell. This is the way scalar energy works. It works at the cellular level. Hence,
wow,
it's a perfect.
There's no absorption. There's no absorption. Yes. It's in.
Yeah, you took the words out of my mouth. It's the perfect delivery system of nutrients. You don't have to worry about the metabolic process.
This is the transporter from Star Trek.
Yes, it is.
You basically could theoretically scale a gun into someone or something. No, I shouldn't say that. That was the wrong thing. But you could theoretically start moving objects, couldn't you?
Yes. Scalar energy is actually the cause of gravity. Once we really understand scalar energy, we'll finally understand the universe. Gravity is caused by scalar energy. Plain and simple. You either have a compression of scalar energy or a relaxation of scalar energy. And as such, you either have gravity or anti-gravity. Scalar energy is the cause of gravity. The Newtonian concept of gravity is completely wrong.
I believe that. I think Einstein also did. But so, and my understanding of quantum mechanics, which is limited, it really sounds like you have already discovered what they're calling dark matter, like
Yes.
dark matter and dark energy, and the source of gravity. Yeah.
Yes.
And
Yes,
so scalar energy would be the why the universe is accelerating at a rapid rate, would you say?
that's correct. Scalar energy is going to finally explain so many of the mysteries. And Tesla saw this, and I see this. So many people look at the universe and they're befuddled because the phenomenon that we're observing does not follow that of the electromagnetic model. I understand because there are so many phenomena that are caused by scalar energy. It's not caused by electricity or magnetism.
Yeah, electricity and magnetism are almost a third, fourth generation wave of scalar. Basically, is what you're saying.
I'll put it bluntly. Everything in the universe originates as scalar energy, which is a double helix. Hence, electricity and magnetism are a derivative of scalar energy. That is, electricity and magnetism are the imperfect derivative of this divine energy.
Yes, almost a symptom of scalar.
Yeah.
Right, like a symptom. Excellent. And then wanted to just to close off this talk, the third thing you offer in your package is a chakra balance.
That's correct.
Quickly, what is that?
Well, we all observe that there are 7 chakras or 7 meridians in the body. 7 is a perfect number. And the reason Western science has never attended to that is that scalar energy is responsible for these chakras. That is, each chakra is composed of scalar energy. Hence, my scalar energy instrument has a profound effect on the chakras because it more or less jumpstarts our 7 chakras. Now, with that said, I have profound effect upon the psyche of people. If we can consider that those 7 chakras possess an incredible amount of instructions and information, and my scalar energy instrument now has a profound effect upon the 7 chakras, well, then we see the cause and effect. A chakra balancing by way of my instrument will have a profound effect, a profound download of information upon our 7 chakras. And I do that on a daily basis. Many people say that the chakra balancing serves to create a greater sense of tranquility or peace. I could understand it, and I think that is a rather common experience with my treatments.
Interesting. I have to say that I have felt, just to report to people out there, I felt rather balanced. I've noticed I've definitely noticed little infections gone away in the skin and things like that. So there doesn't seem to be any parasites. I definitely feel free that way. And I'm gonna actually get some blood work done, and I'm gonna want to hang out with you again, Tom. You're coming to the LA Conscious Life Expo, yes? Can people come out there and meet you here?
Please, booth 203, come see me. I'll be in LA in late February. Yes.
Well, that's terrific. I'm looking forward to that. We'll be there too at soulgarden.tv and also Serious Story. So I will come up and interview, and I'm going to get some blood work done and present my results to the public too, because I was having some issues. So it'll be interesting to see. I appreciate your work, sir, and your dedication to humankind. It's beautiful.
Thank you. And I salute you too for what you're doing. We need more good people like you, Christopher. God bless you.
God bless you, sir. We need to come together. And I will remind everyone that Tom has a wonderful heart. He's going to give it to you for free for 15 days. That'll pretty much eradicate everything you have viral in you and everything you have living off you. So from that point on, you'd have to go put it back on. Give it a try. I'll tell you, it didn't hurt me at all. And you can go down to soulgarden.tv. There's a link right under the video that takes you straight there. It tells you how to upload and whatnot. And please, if anyone is suffering from something very serious and you would like our help, we are going to put one person on the 30 days. Now, Tom, just one question. What is the benefit of 15, 30, et cetera, et cetera? It seems like a person going for several months. What would be that benefit?
Many people love what I'm doing, to be quite candid, and they stay with me for 12 months out of the year. I try and break it down into increments that people can at least gauge the effectiveness. So the 15-day free trial should at least give people an indication, yes, they're pathogen-free. Within those 15 days, I've eradicated viruses, bacteria, and fungi that they've carried for years in their body. After 15 days, invariably, just about everybody feels better. They should be. They're germ-free. So I'm just trying to package it. I'm just trying to make it palatable. 15 days, 30 days.
Absolutely.
In a time rush.
And so, yeah, I mean, I have to say, the idea that some computer in space is constantly keeping me healthy anywhere I go in the world is awesome.
Yes.
Like, I mean, it's awesome. And like I said, I just want all my viewers to put a blessing around Tom and protect him and his device, and let's get this out there to the people. And for people who can't afford to do this, please come do this and put your money down. It comes down to light walkers, supporting light workers like Tom. You heard him. He wants to give it away, but at this point, we can't. It takes the human life and survival as a thing on Earth. So if you have the money, invest in Tom's work here and see for yourself. And we'll come back here maybe in a month. I guess it'll be a month. We'll come back for the Life Expo and talk about it again, Tom. Is that all right?
Please, let's do that. I'm looking forward to that.
Okay, great. And anyone who's interested in that complete 30-day healing or something really serious, please email us at help@soulgarden.tv. Give us your case, and we will all ask the guys what's perfect. So, thanks so much, Tom. And we're going to put Tom's website on. Well, you'll have Tom's website on my site, so we'll all learn about it there. Thanks again, Tom. You have a fabulous and safe journey, my friend.
Thank you. I'll see you in LA pretty soon, next month.
Can't wait. And you have my prayers and protection, sir. I love you. Thank you.
God bless you. Love you too. Thank you. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.